this opportunity to see confusion as an opportunity to expand and create growth versus like suppress it and say this is a negative thing and it makes you stupid and bad. And then we just disengage and go, okay, well, I don't want to feel bad coming from the outside, so I'll just crawl into a corner and not engage in that. It takes on a whole new meaning.
And the same thing, Amber, is true about mistakes and failure.
Yes.
What does a kid experience in school when they make a mistake or fail? Or what do we experience in the workplace when we make a mistake or fail? I have been an admirer of the Wright brothers for a long time. And a reason is I love people who are crazy, right? And Orville and Wilbur were crazy. They thought human beings could fly. Well, that's crazy, right? That's never going to happen, right? But they believed that, didn't they? And they went to Kitty Hawk. And if you would have in 1913 asked them what's possible, what's possible? Here's what they would have said: 12 seconds. That's how long they were in the sky. They would have said 120 feet. That's how far they flew. That's not even half a football field. And they would have said 8 feet high. That's a little bit higher than my ceiling right here. Right? That's how high they were flying. Right? Now, a few months ago, I flew from Phoenix back to Minneapolis. Right? Almost 3 hours, 1,800 miles. I don't know how high we were, but I'm pretty sure it was higher than 8 feet. It might have been like 28,000 feet up in the sky. All right. At the same time that I was on that airplane, there were 200 other people on that same airplane. And at the same time across the country, there were hundreds and hundreds of airplanes doing the same thing. Are you kidding me? There is no way when the Wright brothers were in Kitty Hawk that they could possibly imagine that that was possible, right? No way.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's what's going on today. So here's what we're saying. How did it happen? How did it happen that these two guys kind of pull this off? They didn't really know it was possible. But here's what they did know. If you put the certain conditions in place, it makes what's possible possible. What are the conditions? You leave Dayton, Ohio, and making bicycles, because that's what they did in Dayton, Ohio. You go to Kitty Hawk, you try something, and you fail. And you're okay with failing. Because when Orville would fail, Wilbur would say, hey, brother, what'd you learn? And when Wilbur would fail, Orville would say, hey, brother, what'd you learn? And they kept failing and failing and failing and learning and learning and learning, right? And because that, they put that condition in place. We're not going to stay up for very long, but we're going to learn something when we crash, right? That allows me to fly from Phoenix to Minneapolis in 3 hours because those guys put the conditions in place. We have to do the same thing. What Amber and her group are trying to do is put the conditions in place around heart leaders, for heart leaders, that makes incredible things happen. Things you couldn't even imagine, right? What we're trying to do at Top 20 Training is to provide teachers, parents, people in the workplace with certain understanding of certain conditions. If we put those conditions in place, kids learn at an incredible rate. People perform in the workplace in an incredible way. Our families thrive, right? If we put the right conditions in place. This isn't rocket science. We're not trying to get to the moon. Everything we do in Top 20 Training is highly practical and easily understood and immediately applicable. It's not about getting to the moon. And so even the heart leader, right? You don't have to write notes to study for the test. Somebody just used one of our books as a book study in their company. And then he sent me their responses to reading the book. One guy's response was, duh.
Okay, but are you doing it? That's the question.
This is obvious. Bernabei's writing about obvious stuff. Yeah, we are. We're writing about obvious stuff. When you make a mistake, learn something from it. Don't blame somebody. Duh. All right. When your thinking's not working really well, don't make an important decision. Duh. Right? Yes, it's all pretty simple stuff. But again, as Amber just said, we sometimes, even though it's common sense is not always common habit, right? We don't always do it. So.
Exactly. There's a difference between knowing something and doing something.
Yes.